Antitrust legal action against several large corporations, including Google. The National Taxpayers Union has been examining the lawsuits. Pete Sepp is president of the National Taxpayers Union. Pete, tell us about your organization.
National Taxpayers Union was founded back in 1969 to work for lower, fairer, simpler taxes, full government spending, and more accountability from public officials to the taxpayer at all levels of government. And in fact, we take a nonpartisan approach. We're as likely to work with Congressman Blumenauer on Farm Bill and crop insurance reforms as we are with Congressman Bentz on IRS reforms. So we span the entire spectrum.
Let's take a look at some of the antitrust actions that are going on. The Biden administration has taken aggressive antitrust action against several businesses, including the lawsuit against Google that has been joined by several states, including Oregon. Tell us about that case and how the National Taxpayers Union sees it.
This case was brought back in 2020 by the Trump administration's Department of Justice, as well as Republican and Democrat attorneys general from 36 or so states, and they asserted 7 different counts against Google that they were violating anti-monopoly and anti-competitiveness laws. And so the suits were combined, and the case proceeded to trial, but not before the judge in this trial, back in the fall, or late summer, I should say, limited the counts from 7 all the way down to 3. He threw out 4 of the charges because they were unsupported. One of them was, of course, very controversial. The states were claiming that Google hurt search rivals like Yelp and TripAdvisor just because of the design of search results. The judge said, well, that's not really the purview of antitrust. That's competitors complaining about somebody who's doing search better than they are. And that's really at the heart of this case and many other antitrust cases lately. Why are states and the federal government pursuing actions? Is it because they want to help consumers, or is it because competitors are complaining that they're getting outfoxed in the marketplace? If it's the latter, that's really not, in our opinion, the way that antitrust law should work. It should benefit consumers who might be gouged by high prices or collusion behind the scenes. If governments can't prove that, then they shouldn't be using antitrust in this way.
Yeah, normally these type of cases will show harm to the consumer. And is that the case here?
I don't think the government will be able to prove its case. One of the remaining charges, one of the 3, is that Google and Apple cut a deal so that Google search could be preloaded onto Apple's devices. Microsoft and several others have testified that they can't because of that. But preloading has all kinds of equivalents in the conventional retail sector, where retailers and product sellers come to an arrangement of how their products will be staged on shelves. You know, this is the kind of business arrangement that is highly competitive, can very many times leave some other competitors making less money. But again, antitrust law is supposed to be about specific harms to consumers, and consumers have enough search engine options and enough ways to deload Google from their devices that there doesn't seem to be harm that can be proven here. And especially since Google's search service does not come with some kind of upfront fee that people have to pay.
So who has testified so far, and what have been their arguments?
There have been a whole lot of folks testifying. The government presented its side of the case first. Google is wrapping up its own side of the case as we speak. And you've seen Microsoft testify. You've had experts from Apple saying that they chose to preload Google because it was the best search engine. You've had other experts in academia and markets saying that, well, there's really not the kind of consumer harm here that should allow this case to go forward. And laughingly, even the federal government asserted that maybe Russia is a place to look to where search engine choice is essentially constructed up front by requiring people to make a choice whenever they want to go on the internet. I'm not sure that's something we want the United States government to emulate.
So you said Google is presenting its side of the case now. What's next in the trial?
Well, there's going to be a great deal of evidence that the judge in the case will have to wade through. He will probably continue to call back experts for specific questions should those arise. I would not expect a ruling in this case until next year. And of course, there are other blockbuster cases involving antitrust, from grocery stores and a merger that may occur there and may end up in court, to a case that's going to court against Amazon.
So how does this type of a case proceed? A lot of us are familiar with criminal trials. This is a lawsuit, right?
It is an antitrust trial, a lawsuit brought by governments, I would say on behalf of competitors against other competitors, but governments brought the suit. The judge is going to weigh all this evidence and then issue a ruling. What could result from it? It could be fines against Google. It could be prohibition on certain practices. It could be a breakup of certain services that Google might be offering. There are a number of things that the judge could do besides just saying this whole case has no merit and it's dismissed.
That's Pete Sepp, president of the National Taxpayers Union, on the antitrust lawsuits against Google and other large technology corporations.